In NFL Week 10, the New Orleans Saints defense dominated the Carolina Panthers by selling out to stop the run and forcing quarterback Bryce Young to beat him through the air. Defensive coordinator Brandon Staley's game plan worked perfectly, holding the Panthers to less than 200 yards of offense and only 7 points. In today's Saints film room, we break down plays showing how the Saints shut down the running game and neutralized Carolina's passing attack. And we're going to start with the game-changing play by linebacker Demario Davis that set the tone. But in the box score, it was a play that never happened. Let's jump right into the film room. I'm Tim. Let's talk Saints. So this is on the Panthers' first drive. It's the play that never happened, as I refer to it. Yeah, technically it happened, but it's classified as a no play. You're not going to find it in the box score because of the roughing the passing penalty on Justin Reed for basically hitting him in the face mask. Pre-snap, we are showing a single high safety, definite man look because we're showing that we're bringing a lot of pressure at Young. And at the snap of the ball, that's exactly what we're giving him. We're manning up on the outside. We've got slot corner on the slot receiver. Reed is blitzing, so he is not covering that tight end. The box safety is going after Young, which means Young, Davis, who had been simulating a blitz, he's got to get out of there and go pick up Sanders. And Demario being Demario, he does an incredible job. I think Young initially read everything that was going on, and I guess he was assuming that Demario Davis wasn't going to get there and pick up Sanders because he's trying to fit a ball in when Davis has Sanders covered like a blanket. And there's really no way he's getting the ball in there, even if Davis doesn't turn around. Demario Davis is a Hall of Fame linebacker. He very well knows how to cover a guy, turn, and look for the ball. He turns, he looks for the ball, and it hits him right in the chest. You got to play going the other way, if not for the penalty. The amazing thing is, at this point, Young's setting up to try to make a pass that there's probably only a handful of quarterbacks on the planet that would have a shot at fitting that ball in there, and he's definitely not one of them. He never looks at his outside receiver to the offensive left, down at the bottom of your screen around the 25-yard line, because he's crossing with Quincy Riley covering him 5 yards off. Now, he's a couple of yards short of the sticks, but with everybody else having their back turned to him, except for the free safety, Sanker, who's in no position to stop him if he catches a ball before he picks up the first down. And if we look at the end zone view, I think this is the thing that tells Brandon Staley and the defense an awful lot about what was going on. Because right at the snap, we're sending the pressure. Demario's already getting out of there, getting eyes on Sanders and figuring out, hey, how do I have to go cover that ground to cover that guy? And full well knows how to do it. So this is why I think he read it right. Because he's looking, realizing what's coming from his left with the blitz, and Davis has to get over there. And I think he's just locked in. Well, Sanders is going to be open. I'm going to hit him over the middle and pick up this first down. Because he never looks at that outside receiver that was breaking open. And as the pressure's coming in, he's got no chance to look off this throw. So I guess his decision was, well, let me see if I can stick it in there before I get hit, which, that's definitely roughing the passer, Justin Reed. But Davis does a tremendous job making this play. And to be clear, I don't think Reed meant to do it. He was just swiping at the ball and unfortunately caught Young's face mask. This play, I think, when Saints realized what was going on, was he read it right initially, but we still kind of deked him into making the wrong read and the wrong throw and getting a big play out of it. This did everything to reinforce their scheme of take the run away at all costs. We're confident he is not going to make enough plays from the pocket to beat us. Turns out it was true. And the reason why I think this was the unsung play of the whole day, even though it was a no play, let's break down some numbers, and I think I can prove it to you. So just a quick wrap up by the numbers, not going too deep into it. Two important things we're going to talk about. To me, in the passing game, it's all about the air yards. number of yards thrown from the line of scrimmage to the pass catcher downfield trying to catch the ball. 20 plus is considered deep. 10 to 19 yards is considered intermediate. 9 yards or less is considered short. The other thing is explosive plays on defense and are giving up explosive plays on defense. More importantly, giving up explosive plays in the running game to a team that is one of the top 5 best in the NFL going into week 10 at running the ball. But looking at the air yards, and this is why I think Davis's non-play or the no play or the play that never happened was instrumental in this game, because I think it really reinforced a lot to the Saints staff what they wanted to do, and caused some pump the brakes attitude. Let's get a little more conservative from the Carolina side. But there was only 3 attempts over 20 yards by Carolina. Completed 1 for 26. Intermediate, 1 for 2 at 11 yards. Taylor's interception was the one that he didn't complete, completed it to the wrong team. And had Davis's interception counted, it'd have been 1 for 3, because it was about 15, 16 yards, air yards. So it'd have fallen in the intermediate category. Short, 9 yards or less, 15 for 20, 87 yards. 4 times as many attempts, 9 or less, than the combined 10 to 19 or 20 plus attempts that they made. Kind of tells you a whole lot right there. And really, since you're only focusing on throwing the ball 9 yards or less most of the game, it's kind of an extension of the running game, more or less playing right into what we wanted to stop, how we were designing the defense. Like I said, they only had one actual running play go for 10 plus yards. Dowdle had a 14-yarder, first play of Carolina's second possession. Other than that, we brought pressure. And I can't tell you if the pressure we were bringing was specific to the running game, designed for passing game, both, or didn't seem to matter. In the running game, and by extension, handling that heavy dose of 9 yards or less passing game. Look, we didn't miss tackles. Offensive line did not control our defensive line. In fact, most times it was the other way around. We were stonewalling some blocks. We were getting great gap discipline. We were getting free of blocks and making stops on the defensive line with our defensive linemen. The run fills were good from the second level. Most importantly, or the 2 most important things, we didn't miss tackles in that game. Officially, only 1 missed. May have been a few here and there where it would be, maybe that's a missed tackle and would officially be marked as one, except the second thing we did really well. We had so many bodies getting to the ball, around the ball, that even if somebody missed a tackle, that ball carrier wasn't going more than an inch or 2 before he was running into more Saint defenders. We cut down on yards after contact. There were no piles getting pushed on us. It was a pile of bodies that stayed right where we made contact with that ball carrier. No hidden yardage, no extra yardage. Refreshing to see, because we have been very poor at both those things, especially the last few weeks when we were struggling to do anything. I think the biggest takeaway that from this game and the way they used the game plan, I think it was more than just Bryce Young. I think their offensive linemen and their coaching staff at times didn't really comprehend what was going on. Really struggling with showing one thing, giving them something else, and they playing into it. Right down to Alontae Taylor's game-sealing interception in the fourth quarter. We did great job outside pressure mostly, cat blitzes, corner blitzes, Taylor, Reed, but even Sanker coming in from the second level with the run fills kept them very much off balance. We had, refreshing to see for a change, their offensive line just totally blocking assignments because they can't figure out who's coming from where. Even to the point where we were getting very creative. And I think we've always done this, but when you shut a team down like we did, it's very noticeable that, hey, it's working right. Different combinations off of different packages we were putting in there several times. And I think I have one in here. I'm pretty sure I do. Where for those of us old enough to remember the split four, they were given a split four look, which for those of you who aren't, back in our day, it was a common defense with four defensive linemen and four linebackers, either stacked right behind them or offset a little bit to play the gap. It was an 8-man front pretty much the whole game. We were doing the same thing with two linebackers out of our nickel package, but McKinstry or Shanker or Reed or Riley, somebody to the DBs coming in to take those outside linebacker positions of a split four. And it was effective. And they had trouble picking up what we were trying to do out of it. So overall, I think it was a dominant defense day. We had a great scheme, great play calling from the coaching staff and preparation standpoint. And most importantly, great execution from the defenders themselves, the players out on the field. No horrible bad plays, no plays where we egregiously got ourselves in trouble. The two worst things we did all day help them score a touchdown. I was jumping off sides on a 3rd and 9, which quite honestly, the way they were struggling to pick up anything over 5 or 6 yards, they probably don't get that 3rd and 9, and then taking an interception off the board because of a rough in the passer. Really 2 plays away from a shutout on that opening drive, in my opinion. It easily could have been a 17-0 game. Great job by the defense. So let's go ahead, jump in. I'll show you 6 of the run stuffs. There were several more by my definition of 1 yard or less. And Alontae Taylor's interception to seal the game and how it all played together. Because there's a combination of plays. There was a whole lot of guys on the offense that couldn't figure out what our defense was doing, much less figure out a way to move the ball. So first quarter, their first drive, we've got a 1st and 10. We've got them 1st and 10. They're in a 12 personnel. They've just motioned their tight end back into the formation from the outside. So this is looking like a heavy run set. They've got a block on Jonah Williams. They're trying to combo Devon Godshaw. Bullard's one-on-one. Their tight end that had just motioned to the right side of the formation is coming out trying to pick up Werner. Nobody has Demario Davis, who is reading down and realizing where this run is going. They're pulling backside. The left guard and the tight end that was at the left side of the formation are both pulling to the right. So as Dowdle's getting the handoff, there's nobody on Demario. Pete Werner is just in the process of getting held by the tight end that's coming to try to block him. Bullard has his guy stacked up. He's not pushing Bullard around. In fact, in a second, you're going to realize it's quite the opposite. So when Dowdle gets his ball, he is looking to go right. But Cam holds his ground on the edge, and he's not going anywhere. Demario has jumped that hole, and he's sitting in it waiting for Dowdle to show up. So Dowdle is going to try to cut it back to the middle where there is some space because the right side of our line or our defense is pretty much sealed off by their offensive line. However, Bullard is shucking this guy off his left hip. Right arm is free. He's two-gapped this thing pretty good. While Werner's got off the hug block that he was getting from the tight end, so he's circling over there. Sanker had realized there was a hole there. He had been filling. Chris Rumpf is also in the area now. So what you get is Bullard grabbing him, Werner coming in to make sure he wasn't going anywhere. Now you've got bodies coming in to make sure that pile isn't going to get pushed back towards us. Even early on, even on that touchdown drive that opened the game, we were showing them, hey, we're coming here to stuff the run. And it got more and more impressive as the Panthers offense became less and less willing to try to push plays down the field. So this is Dowdle, second quarter on 2nd and 10. He's going to go for a yard, but in my own mind, this is a run stuff. So they're motioning tight end back into formation. So you have a typical look you would have using 12 personnel, two tight ends and on the wing on each side. They're running the ball to the left. They sent motion that way right before the snap or right at the snap. Dowdle's looking for the ball right here and looking for some blocks. And all across the line, Brazil is fighting through combo block and actually holding ground, if not actually gaining some ground. Godshaw is shucking the left guard that's attempting to try to block him. You've got the center and the right guard working back towards the back end of the formation on Bullard, who did a really good job all day in the running game handling these linemen and not letting himself get pushed around. Their right tackle is moving out to our edge, but Justin Reed, who was aligned out there also, is coming straight in off the corner, cat blitz. And since the play's going left, he's coming backside and chasing it. Meanwhile, Godshaw has spun his guy around, and now he's sitting in the hole Dowdle wants to run through. Outside, not really an option because now Rumpf has set the edge that way. You've got a large amount of mess right there. With Reed jumping in there, Godshaw finally getting completely off his block to step in there. Nothing but bodies around this, just collapsing in on the point of attack where the ball was. And again, no chance for anybody to push a pile. And we did this all day long. Good pursuit to the ball, getting a lot of bodies around the ball carrier, not letting them pick up any cheap yards. And our tackling was really good for most of the day. So the first guy there was making the stop, and then we had bodies showing up to make sure that wherever he was hit, that's where he was staying. Great job on this play showing that. Now, this is an interesting one. We're in the fourth quarter now. They have a 3rd and 1, about 8 minutes left to go in the game. They're in 11 personnel, so there's one tight end and one running back on the field with 3 receivers, yet they come out in this seemingly power formation where normally you would see this in 12 or 13 personnel. The only 2 players you can't see is off to the left, split out wide, is their wide receiver, Tet McMillan, and we have Quincy Riley on it. So it looks like their thought was to combo all 4 linemen, but Taylor is coming right in that B gap, and either the tackle ignores him for some reason or can't see him. I'm not really sure because he never attempts to put a finger on Alontae Taylor. And this is another one of those that I think we were blitzing, and didn't matter if it was run or pass. We were sending Taylor through the B gap. Alontae, get in there. If they're going to hand the ball off, tackle a guy in the backfield, and if they're going to try to throw it, make sure you sack Young. Sanker is coming up hard to fill behind Taylor. So we are selling out bodies right now. It's basically 9 Saints in the box with Sanker now coming in to fill that spot. You've got Reed over the top, just kind of more or less playing the guy that I got to cover everything. And Riley's locked up with McMillan, whatever he's doing one-on-one. There's bodies everywhere jamming this up. They had no real movement on the right side. So even if Taylor's not back here to blow it up for a -1 yard loss, I think this is going to be another instance where you're looking at our defensive linemen having offensive linemen on their hips, getting off blocks, getting hands free, where it was going to be another case of somebody was going to grab Dowdle right at the line of scrimmage, and we had enough bodies coming in there that it wasn't going to go much further than that. Over and over again, we keep showing, hey, we don't care if you try to throw it. We're going to stop the run. Because in the back of my head, with that too high safety look and that many bodies in the box, how on earth you just don't take your highly touted rookie first round pick and let him go one-on-one with our 4th round rookie cornerback and see if you can't hit him for a slant, something that you can use to pick up the yard. And they didn't even think about it. They were trying to bash this ball in against our defense, where we were saying, you're going to be dealing with 8, 9 guys, and one of them is coming straight back there, regardless of what's going on, to try to get in your backfield and disrupt the play. And they had no answer, no counter. At this point in the game, it was domination for the Saints defense. Another one where we hold Dowdle for a 1 yard run. They're on their own 14-yard line. And this is right before the snap. Now, the two linebackers, you could see Demario Davis. He's got his head turned towards Danny Stutzman, who's in for Werner, and kind of pointing in his direction. Pretty sure he's communicating something there. And I think what he was communicating was, hey, Rook, I'm about to go blow this play up. Make sure you clean it up because there ain't going to be nobody blocking you. Because Demario steps up and he is shooting the B gap, splitting the guard and the tackle. Meanwhile, Stutzman has just slid right over like he's the new Mike linebacker, and basically he is. They're trying to combo on the left and the right, but with Davis jumping in there, now you've got single blocks on the right-hand side in their interior. With some penetration and not Dowdle can't go really to his right. He's got to go back to the middle. And there's Stutzman just waiting to catch him. Does a good job. Wraps him up. Takes him down. 1 yard gain. Beautiful job. And love the fact the way Demario, I wasn't there. I don't know what he said. But that just really seems like, hey, I know what play is coming. I'm going to blow it up. If he cuts back to stay away from me, he's going to run right into your open arms. So I think at this point in the game, we're in the third quarter right now, we were reading them like a book a lot of the times on what they were trying to do, especially our smarter veteran players like Demario, in saying, we can blow this up over and over again, and there's just nothing you Panthers can do about it. A lot of their runs were more inside zone or double team combo blocks, more of a power game, kind of out of the gap scheme. And we were shutting a lot of that down. So, you're thinking, well, at some point they're going to try to go wide. So a nice little example here of how we handled when they tried wide zone runs. And we've got a lot of bodies again in the box. If you notice, Kool-Aid McKinstry's now walked back up there and basically a third linebacker. Reed sitting back, single high, sitting right over the center. They're definitely wide zone. They're trying to stretch us out to the left on a pitch. Young's disengaged. He's chasing the play. Taylor's in the process of getting held and about to get grabbed. Both of our linebackers, Werner and Davis, have more or less played the piano. They've just worked left to right, kind of mirroring the linemen that are sliding that way in the zone look and the running back who's carrying the ball. And all of a sudden, he's running out of room to run. Got a lot of bodies in there. Taylor is fought through his, or still actually fighting through the hold. Sanker has come up and is filling way to the outside. So the first pulling lineman now is looking at Jonas Sanker. So is Dowdle. Dowdle's like, let me try to cut this thing back to the inside. Werner hasn't been touched the whole time. And look, I give Pete Werner a lot of stuff about his coverage. But his run defense is really good. He's really effective downhill. And he has a good sideline-to-sideline component, as you're going to see here. Because this thing is blown up. Davis has avoided that block and sealed the outside. Sanker has shucked that left tackle and is also going to be jumping in there. And Dowdle's trying to cut back to the middle. And Werner, who's just done a good job scraping all the way down, playing that piano, he's now set up. And this is one of the best examples that I can show you of, again, what we did all day long that we have not been doing. You wrap up, nobody's missing a tackle. But look how many bodies are in the area to make sure, if this was going to be one of our unfortunate missed tackles, that we had enough people there to clean it up. And we had more than enough. You're looking at 10 Saints players on the screen right now. Now, a couple of them are trotting back in out of the play. They were coming on the pursuit, but the majority, you have the two guys making the tackle. Taylor, who was being held majority of the play, got off his block finally. He's in the area also. Young's closed in there. Reed's come from the middle of the field where he was playing single high, with Riley coming from the back end behind him. Still have Davis available, and McKinstry is also scraped down, almost like he's a linebacker following Werner and Davis across the formation. And this is a team that knows how to run the ball. And this is the type of things our running defense is going to have to do every play, every game, keep forcing other offenses to become one-dimensional in the passing game and go a long way to getting the defense where we need it to get to. 13 minutes left to go in the game. Carolina is in comeback mode. Playing a 2nd and 5 right here from their own 45. So they're approaching midfield, trying to get something going. This is right before the snap. Alontae Taylor is in the slot. It looks like another cat blitz coming from the slot, that slot corner blitz. He's creeping up. This is an obvious, they're trying to throw the ball situation. And Young right now is looking at him. And I think this is once again an example of he may make the initial read, but what Staley and that defense kept doing, Staley through game plan and the players through execution, really showing him one thing, doing something different, and he kept playing into it. So seeing Taylor creeping up and thinking a blitz is coming, well, you want to throw behind the blitz if you're the quarterback. And he's looking in that direction. He has to realize that Taylor is not coming and is actually dropping back into coverage, just like Demario Davis did in the first quarter. And either he doesn't realize it or he actually thinks he can zing balls right past defenders and hit his target, because he's looking for his outside receiver. Had Taylor been coming, that area right there where he's sitting at would have likely been open and where you wanted to put the ball. Taylor's playing coverage the whole way. It makes a nice, it wasn't an easy interception because Young was really trying to fit that ball along the sideline. Taylor makes a great play on it, but just another example of what we were doing off the edge, what we were doing with the slot corner or the strong safety. In Reed's case, sometime had walked up there. A lot have shown him one thing, doing something different. He struggled with it all day long. Great game plan, great execution. They knew this is what was going to happen if they could stop the run. Coverage was good all day. And even when they were locked in on their short passing game, their 9 yards or less, we gave up some throws. He had some completions, but we were locked in and not letting anybody get significant yards after the catch or any explosive plays off of it. We forced them to grind the ball down the field through trying to run the ball and throw the ball short. They couldn't do it. Defense really did dominate this game. So to wrap it up, first, let me know down in the comments what was your favorite play? Was it the play that never happened, Taylor sealing the game with a really nice interception and a play on the ball after deking the quarterback in the offense yet again on the day, or any of the run stuffs that I showed you, or several of the ones that I didn't? Anything else? Let me know down in the comments. I'm partial to Mario Davis's play because that was a great job, and I love it when our Hall of Famer rolls out there and makes plays. But my second favorite might actually be the "Hey rookie, what follow me," when he blew up a run play and led. If he couldn't make the play, he led Stutzman right into the spot where he needed to be to make the tackle. So let me know what you think down in the comments. Overall, to wrap it up, again, great job. Need to see more of this moving forward. We've still got a few tough teams on our schedule, but like I said in the preview, Carolina was a closer level to us roster-wise and every position of where the teams are right now outside of the actual record. They were playing better for that 5-game stretch, way better than we were. We got them on Sunday. I think there's going to be more opportunities like that coming up the next few weeks, but there's still some good teams on the schedule, one of which we're coming out of the bye and having to play Tampa Bay in Tampa. That can be problematic. So I think the bye week will be a Since no game on Sunday, no film review, anything else like that coming up next week, probably going to take a little look back at the first 10 weeks and then maybe, I hate doing this, but it's probably worth a look the remainder of the season, just kind of see what's in play there. So, first time here, you like what you saw, please like, share, subscribe, jump on in the comments, let me know what you think. Not only about which favorite play was, but anything else you got to say. I don't even know if we're going to hold to the Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule next week, but I'm going to try to do it. But if not, it may be more like a Tuesday, Thursday. So make sure notifications, you pay attention to when it comes up for the next show. So till I see you next time, I'm Tim. Peace out and who dat.